My song for you this evening, it's not to make you sad, not for adding to the sorrows of this troubled northern land. But lately I've been thinking, and it just won't leave my mind, to tell you of two friends one time who were both good friends of mine. Alan Bell from Bena, he lived just across the fields, a great man for the music and the dancing and the reels. O'Malley came from South Armagh to court young Alice fair, and we'd often meet on the Ryan Road, and the laughter filled the air. There were roses, roses, there were roses, and the tears of the people ran together. Though Alan he was Protestant and John was Catholic born, it never made a difference, for the friendship it was strong. And sometimes in the evening, when we heard the sound of drums, we said it won't divide us, we will always be the one. For the ground our fathers ploughed in, the soil it is the same, and the places where we say our prayers have just got different names. We talked about the friends who died, and we hope there'd be no more. It's little then we realized the tragedy in store. There were roses, roses, there were roses, and the tears of the people ran together. It was on a Sunday morning when the awful news came round. Another killing has been done just outside Newry town. We knew that Alan danced up there, we knew he liked the band, but when we heard that he was dead, we just could not understand. We gathered at the graveside on that cold and rainy day, and the minister, he closed his eyes and he prayed for no revenge. And all the ones who knew him from along the Ryan Road, they bowed their heads and they said a prayer for the resting of his soul. There were roses, roses, there were roses, and the tears of the people ran together. Well, fear it filled the countryside, there was fear in every home, when the car of death came prowling round the lonely Ryan Road. A Catholic would be killed tonight to even up the score. Oh Christ, it's young O'Malley that they've taken from the door. Alan was my friend, he cried, he begged them with his spear, but centuries of hatred, of ears that cannot hear. An eye for an eye was all that filled their mind, and another eye for another eye, till everyone is blind. There were roses, roses, there were roses, and the tears of the people ran together. So my song for you this evening, it's not to make you sad, now for adding to the sorrows of this troubled northern land. But lately I've been thinking, and it just won't leave my mind, to tell you of two friends one time who were both good friends of mine. I don't know where the moral is, or where the song should end, but I wonder just how many wars are fought between good friends, and those that give the orders are not the ones to die. It's Bell and O'Malley and the likes of you and I. There were roses, roses, there were roses, and the tears of the people ran together. There were roses, roses, there were roses.
Well, we are chatting right now with Tommy Sands. We just heard There Were Roses. Tommy, that song has been around for a long time. You released it, what, 1984, 1985?
That's right, Richard. It is in around 84, 85. It was about an event that happened just before that. Well, a couple of years before it. It took me a while to write the song. But yeah, it's been around for a while now, indeed.
A lot of Americans aren't really aware, but I think what's going on right now in Europe with Brexit is going to affect Ireland and Northern Ireland.
Well, we're a bit worried that it might do, because it's going to, if it involves a hard border between north and south, it kind of scratches a lot of old wounds. And with the Good Friday Agreement, we've come to a peace accord. I suppose, like many agreements, there's a certain amount of positive ambiguity within it. If there's a border again there, well, it could create problems and bring back more trouble.
So you think there is a possibility that there might be a return to the Troubles?
Well, I don't think it will ever be as bad as it was before, and no one really wants to go back to that. But I think peace is something that should never be taken for granted. And the peace process that we have, it is a process. You know, it's not a conclusion. It has to be worked on constantly, because well, the initial problems go back a long, long time, and we have to do everything we can to, I suppose, protect it. And certainly Brexit would not do that.
You have been a force for peace, I think, even, all through the 1980s and the 1990s.
Yes, well, I never set out to write political songs. I set out to write songs about people, and I suppose in the Greek expression sense of political songs, songs about people. And I started off singing songs about pretty fair maids in the month of May or even June. But when it became the July and August in my growing up, and pretty fair maids were amongst those been killed and maimed, I felt the time to write new songs, and looking at the cause of the trouble and the war, and trying to find ways of removing the causes as well as removing the actual violence that was going on. And so a lot of songs that I have written down through the years are about that type of thing, trying to find I suppose, a higher quality of disagreement. I think sometimes differences can be enriching, but if those differences spill over into violence and people have been killed and unfunctioning neighborliness, then it's bad. So I think I try to put people's hopes and dreams in my songs, and a lot of the people I meet at home, their own feelings would end up in many of my songs.
Now, you started off as a youngster touring with your family, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We had 4 brothers and a sister, and the Sands family. We still get together too, but we do quite a lot of things on our own. And after my brother got killed in Germany on tour, in a car crash. I began going my own way to some degree, and not that we ever fell out. We were very good friends and we're very, very close. But I suppose we didn't have the heart to go back on the road after my brother died for a while, so we did tend to do separate things. So over the past number of years, I've been doing solo concerts and writing songs about what's going on, and that's why I'm delighted to be able to come to the United States from time to time and sing some songs.
Well, we're thrilled that you're going to be in Pittsburgh on Thursday, October the 24th at the Root Cellar.
I look forward to that very much.
And this is a Calliope House concert, folks. It'll be, as I said, October 24th at the Root Cellar, 6300 Fifth Avenue in Pittsburgh.
I'm certainly looking forward to it. I've played in Pittsburgh before, and great people that I met and good friends that I've known, and some friends that I didn't know, I did know, hopefully will be there too, and we get to know them too. And that Calliope House, I think what they do there is very important. And people who organise music events at a time when politics tend to divide people and scare people into their own little corners, it's so good that people go to the trouble of organising concerts and live music to give people the opportunity to meet each other and share an evening together rather than just being on a mobile telephone or something.
You do a lot of different things besides just concertizing, if you will. I mean, I see that your website talks about a project that you're doing with prisoners in Nevada.
Well, yes, I sometimes go around prisons, and on manage a tour I would play in prisons. But that particular project is very interesting because I was playing in Nevada. I was actually playing, I think it was in St. Louis, and I met a young woman from Nevada who was the director of the Arts Foundation there. Her name is Jill Berryman, and she thought that because many of my songs came from a background of conflict, that they might have some relevance in the prisoner gangland, prisoner community. And I ended up teaching prisoners to write songs, but also young prisoners in juvenile places where they were going in front of the judge, and the judge had to make the decision whether to send them to an adult prison, where if there weren't criminals going in, they might well be coming out, or should they go to a drug rehabilitation, something like that. And I met up with one of the judges, a woman called Frances Doherty, and she said sometimes it's difficult to know what was in people's minds who were in prison because they closed up a lot. And we both realized that sometimes through a song, you can be freer to, I suppose, express what's inside your soul in terms of the past and also a vision for the future. Words on their own can reach to the ends of the earth, but on the wings of a song can soar higher and seep deeper and reach further inside to express hurt or pain or even hope. So that's what we did, and it is very successful, and I try to get back there when I can.
I think it's really great that you have continued sort of in the tradition of folk singers for decades and decades and decades of communicating the feelings that people are having with a wider audience and helping people present their ideas to the world as well.
Certainly in the Irish context of the ancient bard,
yes,
wore a coat of many colours, the colour of all the tribes, but under the thumb of none. And you could move between different tribes of people and different people. And I think music is something that can heal the wounds, not only between two tribes or two people, but even the conflicts in one's own head. And in fact, Pete Seeger, a wonderful man, sadly no longer with us, that I admired very much. Pete and myself wrote a song about that called The Music of Healing. And it's about how sometimes music can create an atmosphere of neighborliness that can make it more easy for people who are thinking differently to meet and exchange smiles or rhythms or conversation.
I think that certainly is true. And in lots of different musical genres, you see people who can't speak the same language playing music together and coming to some understanding, even if they're not understanding the words.
Exactly, exactly. I grew up in a house where my father played the fiddle and my mother played the accordion. It was a small farmhouse, and neighbours would come in from both sides of the divide in the Northern Ireland context, in the north of Ireland. And my earliest memory as a child was watching all these toes tapping to the same rhythm, regardless of the political persuasion or religious affiliation. And I realised very young that music was something that could connect up all the secret and sacred things within us without our knowing or without our understanding at times.
Besides Antarctica, is there a continent on which you have yet to play?
Oh, I actually haven't been down to Australia, but I've played in the others, and it's one of the great things. I feel very privileged to be able to. The music brings me around a lot of places. I was over in Iran there not too long ago, and I got an invitation from the independent artists and thinkers of Iran, and very, very beautiful people and very sophisticated, educated, elegant people. It's wrong to talk about people. It's better to talk with people and to people. Yes. Yeah. And you very often get another view.
You do that with a lot of the songs. I mean, you've done story songs. You've done, as you said, back with your brothers and sisters, and a lot of the, as you said, the fair maid kinds of songs. But an awful lot of the songs that Pete Seeger and yourself and others do are these ones that tell a story, but it's a story to help people sort of universalize from what's going on in that song.
Yes, I think so. Probably the first song ever sung was to a place where words alone, on their own, couldn't travel. In these days, very often people are driven apart, but I think everyone has a song inside them. That's something that I think can be very important.
We're chatting with Tommy Sands, who's going to be appearing for Calliope House on Thursday, October 24th, at the Root Cellar at the Pittsburgh Center for the Arts, 6300 Fifth Avenue in Pittsburgh, and that concert's at 7:30 p.m. For folks who are not that familiar with your music, what should they expect at the concert?
Well, very often my concerts have a beginning, a middle, and end, although not necessarily in that order. But it's very much how I feel at the moment and the atmosphere in the room. But I will be singing new songs from a new album that I just finished called Fair Play to You All. The songs about, well, some very old songs, but about very modern ideas of thinking at the present time. There's one song, well, I wrote the words, but the melody comes from a way back in time, and it's a song about the goddess of the land in Ireland, was Macha, and she put a curse on the men of Ulster because they made her run against the king's horses and her pregnant. But the song is a lament for her because if pain is not lamented and acknowledged, it doesn't end too readily, and curses can continue. So the song is about that. It's a lament for Macha, and it goes back into the keening tradition, because we get many songs of lamentation in Ireland, and the songs are never meant to make you sad. They were meant to take the sadness out of you, to leave enough space for the dance of life to return. But she being a kind of goddess of the earth, it's got relevant tones today when we look at our at the climate and what we're doing to the earth itself, and trying to acknowledge that. And so it's good songs like that, and it's good funny songs as well, and some songs about what's going on in America and what's going on in the Middle East as well. But there's quite a bit of humor in it as well, and sometimes the humor is what I like most of all.
Well, if you can't face the world's troubles with some humor, then you can turn bitter. And I think you always have hope.
Yes. Oh, I think the hope is it's always very important to have, because it's basically, people are good. We'll find ways of keeping on, as Pete Seeger used to say. It's great. It's great to be a small part of that type of thing.
Tommy, it's great to chat with you, and I look forward to seeing you when you come to Pittsburgh. You've already been through one of our listening areas. We're on the air in Wilmington, Delaware, and you were just there for the Green Willow Folk Club, weren't you?
I was indeed. Enjoyed that very much. It's a club that's been going for, I think, 50 years.
Yes.
And there's great tradition within the club as well. And I really enjoyed that.
I think that is what is so great about the kind of music that you and I both enjoy. You know, the folk music of different varieties, instrumental and sung, as it does bring people together like that.
That's right. And I suppose a lot of this music set out in life, maybe around a fire, trying to shorten a cold winter. And the songs have come out from the kitchens and from, I suppose, the porches in America, and traveled all around the world and back home again.
Well, Tommy, again, thanks so much for your time. Now, before we go, let's play the folks something from your new CD. Fair play to you all. What would you like us to play?
Let me see. There's actually one, the last track on it, The Gathering of the Clans, and there's actually a pipe band on at the end of it, who are world champion pipers for many years and they're good friends of mine. And I think they're world champions for the last 12 years. And they join me at the end to celebrate people meeting each other, crossing bridges all the time. And people still do that. And just to enjoy these gatherings.
Thank you, Tommy Sands. And if you're listening in Pittsburgh, folks, check them out Thursday, October 24th at 7:30 p.m. at the Root Cellar for Calliope House. Thanks, Tommy.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard.
Will you come to the gathering? Good friends from every land, for a story and song about what's been going on since the last time we shook hands at the gathering of the clans.
And what about your man? From the banks of the Ban, I could see it was he had your eye on. How is it today? Did he go? Did he stay? Or could you do with a shoulder to cry on? Oh, come on. Will you come?
Will you come to the gathering? Good friends from every land, for a story and song about what's been going on since the last time we shook hands at the gathering of the clans.
And there's music in the air, if you care for to share in the song for the dawn of the morning. We'll be dancing to the dawn, to a different kind of drum and another way of living for the learning. When you come,
Will you come to the gathering? Good friends from every land, for a story and song about what's been going on since the last time we shook hands at the gathering of the clans.
and they're here from every land, with a plan for the clan and a way to their own way to freedom. And if we can't agree, we can always let it be. higher quality of disagreement, and we'll see. I will